I'm Charlize, or my name is Charlize.
My name is Veronica.
Seneca Senior. What else you want to know?
I agreed to do this film because I want people to know that addiction is something that people can overcome.
You asked me, and I've known you for 10 years, and I was willing to do that.
You don't always have to stay down the hole. That's why I'm doing it. I want people to know what's going on. And hopefully with me explaining my life and everything I've gone through, it can help other people in their recovery or in their life.
I first started using drugs after I had my first daughter. So it was about 11 years ago. It was the Friday before my first Mother's Day, and I had just came home from the hospital, and the doctor had told me that they didn't feel that I should do anything to help resuscitate my child if she was to die or if something was to go wrong. And so my thoughts are drugs seem to find you at the perfect timing, and for me that happened to be the perfect timing.
Well, I come from a broken family, an absent father and a mother that was an alcoholic, and sisters that used, and I was raped by gunpoint in my mom's home. And the guy, he had the nerve to say, don't say anything, don't tell anybody anything. And my mom had finally kicked him out for not paying rent. And I went to her and I said, Mom, this is what happened. And she says, well, that was your fault. You're a girl. You were supposed to be a boy. I wouldn't have lost my husband. And basically at 12 years old, hearing that, it set me in a tailspin. I didn't want to feel it. I didn't want to feel the feelings, so I started using.
I started doing meth. I had always been a weed smoker, but I basically upgraded into doing methamphetamines.
To begin with, I smoked cigarettes, I'd steal my mom's beer, and I used cross tops, which is a type of speed. From there, I tried pot. I didn't really like it. Once I started speed, it was cocaine, crank, acid. Yeah, drinking here and there, but I mainly like to speed.
I would say I started doing drugs because marijuana is a drug, ladies and gentlemen, around elementary school. I was a gang member, so I started around, I'd probably say 7 or 8. I smoked my first bud. I smoked bud for the first time. I was probably about 18, 19. Started doing the crystal meth. I was black doing it back when there ain't no black cats doing it. Yeah, I was out there. It's always smoking the good shit, basically what I'm saying. It was real bad. Got through that, moved on to pills, which was bad, and then that heroin, man. Took a flicker out.
Actually, my first go-round, I cashed a bad check at a bar, and eventually it turned into prostitution for money in order to get the drugs.
I used to think I was better than the prostitutes. Oh yes, I'm so much better because I didn't go walk on the street. Well, no, I just went to their house. I went to the dope dealer's house and I laid down so I could get drugs.
I sold my soul for about 6 years. Actually, no, excuse me, for about 4 years.
Stole. I was an habitual stealer. I started out stealing from my mom and then stealing from friends and relatives to stealing from grocery stores, candy, and things like that when I was younger. And then it got worse. I would go into people's purses while we're at a party and take stuff out of their purses and go hawk it or whatever so I could get even more money to get loaded. And then cars. I had a thing for cars. We would go and spot out a car far away from where I live and bring our own ignition switch and pop it out and steal cars and then turn around and sell it or part it out so I could have money for dope.
Robbery, I was boosting, bank robbery.
I would steal clothing for my kids, diapers, things that I wasn't using the money to buy. So instead of buying it, I was stealing it, and then the dope man was getting my money.
I'd have people that are desperate, they needed money. I would get them when they really, really, really were just, they would trade their life right then because they were really down now. So those type of individuals, you know, you get them, you talk to them, groom them up a little bit, and send them in to do what you need them to do, and you just sit back and collect. I was making, shit.
I tried to stay away from the organized crime, which is hard to do when you're getting loaded all the time, but I tried to stay away from that. We personally did it, word of mouth.
We're talking scams, we're talking scams and robbery, maybe one or two.
Because we couldn't pay the bills, we became homeless, and I lived out on the street. I lived under a bridge. I got rousted when I was at the park. You know, you'd lay down on the bench and the cops would come around and roust you up and make you move, and it just spiraled.
Because you have to understand, when you're on any drug, your life really is orientated towards that. There's nothing else that is important than scoring or doing crime or doing whatever that you're doing, stacking it up to get your drugs at the end of the night.
I personally consider the person that was using her prostitute name, which was Destiny. And Charlize is not Destiny. Charlize is a hardworking, strong woman who does what she has to better her life and to be a better mother for her children. Destiny was young, lost, confused, and wanted to do whatever was going to make all the worries go away.
I would say drugs make anybody a bad person. If you're good and you go into doing drugs, you're going to be fucked up. If you're fucked up and you go into doing drugs, you're going to be even fucked upper. So getting away and removing yourself from the drugs I would say, is what needs to happen. If that does not happen, you are going to be doomed to repeat the same cycle over and over again. There's no hope in it.
And I think I would have moved forward if I would have stayed away from the drugs. But the drugs kept the emotions down, the pain down. So you do the drugs and then you don't feel it, and you don't feel anything, so you can just go on.
When you're on heroin, that's the biggest pain reliever in this world. You know what I'm saying? You don't feel shit. Nothing. No pain, feelings, emotions, nothing. All of it's drained. You don't feel any of it. So, you know, being clean, yeah. After the pause, post-acute withdrawal symptoms, which last about 6 to 9 months, I was having aches and pains. My feelings was coming back. Like, there was time when I was, even with sex, I didn't even want to fuck. Look, I'm getting high on heroin. That was my bitch. That's who I was fucking. So I had no desire to do anything sexual. So after I was getting back normal, that's when everything started coming back. I started getting boners out of nowhere. I was like, whoa, what's going on? It was nuts. Sorry. So, you know, it was, then I started getting aches and pains, like, ooh, this and that hurt, and, stuff was starting to hurt because I was not taking care of myself. I've not been taking care of myself for 10 plus years because I was ripping and running, you know, tearing myself up, getting high.
Drugs are a form of medication. They take the reality away from what's going on. And that's why I truly believe that drugs will find you at the perfect timing. When everything in your life is going wrong, that's when you need to just stop and do nothing.
Nobody has ever retired from being a drug addict. Death, penitentiary, I guess if they call that retirement. There's no 401k for being a junkie, for being a gang member, for being a drugs salesman. You know what I'm saying? None of that.
I mean, you can be homeless and not be on drugs. You can be homeless and it's because of a situation. You know, it's not something that you should turn your nose down to, because that's what I see. People just turn their nose down to it, and they did to me too when I was out there.
In drug addiction, crime, doing wrong, everybody's a nigger. So we all get bundled up in that same little bag and treated the same, because a poor white boy is the same as a black boy. That's the way society is crumbling and breaking down today. So not only black people are the poor, dissolute, just bad ones today. Everybody that fits in that category, which I just mentioned, is bad. So we all are going to have a hell of a time trying to score points with people who have never, ever, ever been through anything that we've been through.
Well, after I had lost my kids, I quit doing meth, got with the wrong guy here in Portland, and was couch surfing. And once I was constantly being abused by him, I got the nerve to get up and leave, and I took a bus back to go find my kids' dad, and who was at the time with somebody else. And so when I got with him, he didn't have anywhere for me to stay. His girlfriend didn't like me, and so he hooked me up with his brother. And once I was with his brother then became my pimp. And we worked great as a couple. He was still getting high, I was getting high, everybody was kind of getting high. We went through the motions. We were only together for a year. And at that time, he was in jail. And another person who was supposed to be my friend brought this lovely lady who I was told to keep under my wing. And this young lady was young. Anyway, I ended up catching a case with him. And the day my kids' dad's new girlfriend had her baby, I was arrested for sex trafficking of a minor. And then I was spent the evening in jail. The next morning, the feds drove me to Portland. And that was the start of my sobriety.
Well, after being homeless and finally finding a place to stay, I got arrested for driving a vehicle with no driver's license, and went to the thing. They sent me to, I had a PO, and I was on probation, and I had to stay clean, so I had to pee clean. So my mom took me in for a little while, and then I was back to where I wanted to go back to the dope dealer, and I moved clear across the state to my dad's. I did a geographical, is what it's called. And I just white-knuckled it for the first 90 days. And then I called my sister up. There was problems there because my stepmom drank. So I called my sister up. She sent me a plane ticket, and I came back home.
My tipping point, I would say, was when my son was removed from my custody. Me and his mother, it was real nuts. She had got removed, and like 2 days later, she died, overdose, in our restroom, and had to revive her and get her to the hospital and stuff, and all that combined was my tipping point to make me know that it was too late. But the thing was I still was a good 2 or 3 months away from in my tip. So it's not like you go real fast. My tip was pretty slow because I still was doing things I was not supposed to. I still was getting fucked up. I still was doing crime. But what really broke the straw that broke the camel's back was me losing my son. Right then and there, I knew that I had to get him back. He cannot be raised by some fucker that is going to molest him or not pay him any mind. Seneca Jr. could not be floating around just in somebody's care and not with me. That would have fucked me up for the rest of my life. I would not be doing this right now, guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Right now I'm working for TriMet. I'm a bus operator. I drive a bus back and forth.
I've been clean since October 2008. So I'd say about 6 years. I shook that gorilla off my back. Get the fuck off, you silverback. He was big too. He'd hit me in the head every day. Let's go get high. Doom, 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 doom. He was huge. But today he's not on there. Look. My son's over there playing right now with his daughter. That's how I do it.
I hang out with my children. I sit on the phone and talk to my kids. I check out movies from the library. Sit at home by the fire.
Because of recovery, I've gotten my GED. I was a A student in college. I bought a home and then turned around and bought another home. So by staying clean, my life is good.
I'm glad that I tipped. I'm glad that I fell. You know, there's not too many. I talk with my sister. I call her Charlize, this gal, and I talk to her all the time. And I tell her how proud I am of her and of our situations. Of how, in the midst of all this stuff, me and her are the only people that I know out of a few hundred people that are all right today. So I know I'm all right because every day I look at my fucking son's room and see him sleeping. And I know that I've done it, that I don't have to do any of the stuff I was doing before. It's all gone now, and I'm proud of myself and I'm happy, you know?
I would like to tell people that if you are stuck in an addiction and if you really want to get out, that life is better on the other side. It's not easier, but it is definitely better.
You can get clean and you can stay clean. You have to seek outside help. Say a program or medical or whatever you need, seek the help. There is help out there for you.
Everybody, you need to pay attention to what you learn and hear on this because this shit's real. We're not puppets. This isn't an actor. This is not a paid spokesman and none of that stuff. This is real. And Sko, thank you for including me in this, man, because I appreciate it. I make sure that I don't slide back to that hole. Alice in Chains, Down the Hole. Perfect song if you are going through heroin. I'm out of it, I'm telling you.